Your Bo Nix assessment so far.
Well, so this is apparently a legitimate quarterback competition still between, I'm going to say, Jarrett Stidham and Bo Nix and not include Zach Wilson in that because I don't really think he's part of this quarterback competition. But theoretically, Stidham versus Nix is a legit QB competition. To the point where, again, when Bo Nix came in, he was working with the first team offense. Like Cortland Sutton is still out there with Bo Nix. The offensive line is still the first string offensive line. So they were giving them effectively equal opportunity in terms of the support structure, but Bo Nix was given significantly more opportunity just in terms of duration, reps, number of drives compared with Jarrett Stidham. And I think generally, so he's going to be, I think generally took advantage of it and looked good, but his overall grade or whatever is going to get ruined by the throw where he tried to get his receiver killed, which you can...
First pass.
Yeah, which you can sort of... We can argue about whether or not how dangerous is that from a ball protection standpoint as opposed to trying to get your receiver killed standpoint. You know, is that turnover worthy? Is it just risky and clumsy and a bad error? Either way, like that's the one kind of blot on his copybook. Everything else was pretty good.
Yeah, I think the stuff I said about Caleb Williams and J.J. McCarthy and what Jaden Daniels showed at LSU, I think the balance and the ability to get from read to read, I feel like was lacking with Bo Nix. When we were going through the draft prospect, there was I got the word spastic thrown out there for Bo Nix from someone in the league, and there was some of that in his game, right? Like I think he's excellent on the run, throwing on the run. You know, much like not like Caleb Williams, but like hey, tick box when he gets out on the move, he does that well. But like the first play, he works backside, kind of gets stuck in the mud. He's under pressure. Yeah, he just throws hospital ball over the middle. It's either causing a concussion or a turnover, right? That's the two options there. The way he threw it. There was another play where all he had to do, when we go back to like mechanics and footwork, all he had to do was just rotate back, keep his base. He didn't keep his base, man. He started to like run up and throw on the run and just completely misses a wide open 15-yard pass backside. That reminds me of, you remember watching Jeff Garcia play? Well, Jeff Garcia had this unique style where he wouldn't just go like 1 to 2 and his footwork was pristine. He was always like running towards the line of scrimmage as he threw. It's like almost so many standard throws were thrown on the run, and it worked for Garcia. That's why it was fine mechanics, Sam, because it worked. But when you miss, maybe there's a better way to do it. So that's just something I would keep an eye out for Nix. He's got to be a little bit quieter with his footwork as he gets through his reads, so he's not missing those open throws. Yeah, but I think he executed like a lot of the short stuff, much like Oregon. The touchdown to Marvin Mims, was like the quick pull, put it right on him. You have to put that. It's a harder throw than it looks. The 1-yard touchdown, it's into the flat, but he had to be so quick, pulling the ball, zipping it right in there, putting it right on him. I thought that was good. I thought the quick game type of stuff was good for Bo Nix, and I think that's where the fit with Sean Payton is very good. My concern is on explosive play. Are they going to create enough explosive plays down the field with Bo Nix? There was a busted coverage where he got one out there, but his ability to hit the backside dig, to hit the 15 to 20-yard routes, I think I need to see a little bit more there from Nix.
Yeah, it's interesting when you deal with these small sample sizes. I think his worst 2 plays were literally his first 2 dropbacks, right? First throw was the hospital pass and almost got his receiver killed. The second throw I actually think was a worse decision where he's trying to hit a deep over, doesn't see a linebacker like dropping into, like stopping effectively his depth gain and sitting there right in front of that. And only because it was underthrown and off target did it just fall harmlessly incomplete into the dirt.
Really quick.
But like the linebacker's in better position.
Do you see how he's throwing? So he gets to the top of his drop. He has an ocean. There's a little bit of pressure off the edge, but an ocean of clean room to step up in, and he runs up to throw it instead of stepping up, right?
Hitting a guy.
The opposite of what J.J. McCarthy did. J.J. McCarthy's first pass, shuffle, boom, lets it go.
Trying to hit a guy that's going to get cut off by the linebacker that I don't think he sees on that play. But my point being, so that brings up 3rd and 10, having had 2 bad failures on 1st and 2nd down. 3rd and 10 is one of his better plays. He ends up hitting Cortland Sutton on the sideline.
On the run.
Shuffling away.
Yeah.
Yes, shuffling away initially from a collapsing pocket and then ultimately running away from a collapsing pocket, hits the guy on the sideline, a number one receiver, the first team, on the sideline, 3rd and 10, keep the drive going, blah, 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 right? So a lot of this with these quarterbacks is some, like, you're going to have some bad plays as a rookie in particular. How do you bounce back from it? I mean, his arguably the worst 2 plays he had in the game were the first 2. And then from that 3rd play, immediately bounced back, settled in. And from that point on, I think you got a much more poised,
he did settle in better.
Comfortable Bo Nix.
Yeah. So again, to just sum up my complaint, like that play he had to Sutton rolling to his left, like he throws on the run pretty well. Pocket balance for me, for Bo Nix. I've been big on that lately. Pocket balance, and I don't think this is recency bias, but to me that was the thing that was the trait that allowed C.J. Stroud to continue to develop. That he was always balanced and ready to throw in the pocket, and so even when the results weren't perfect early on, that was the thing he continued to build on because his foundation was really strong. So pocket balance for me for Nix. I think the quick game stuff was pretty good. Some of the outside the pocket stuff was pretty good as well. And he bounced back.
And I thought he showed off some athleticism as well.
Yeah. He's athletic for sure.
And more athletic than I think. He's another one of these guys that it's more athletic than people give him credit for. Like, you don't tend to hear that much about Bo Nix, but so you had the one kind of read option play that turned into a decent gain. But the scramble on 3rd and 3 where he picks up a first down, the guy that he beat to the sideline was Adebawore, the freak show defensive tackle that ran like a 4.4.
Yeah, easily.
So, like he comfortably outpaced the guy that runs what did he actually run? A 4.4, right?
4.49, I believe.
Right, to the sideline. So even if he's 4.5 flat, running a 4.5 flat guy to the sideline is serious wheels.
Yeah, I mean, I think we've said this about most of the quarterbacks, right? The athleticism was really good. Now, Penix is the only guy that didn't run. Penix also, by the way, didn't take a sack, similar to what he did in college. But he ran really fast. He's just not a scrambler.
Right.
But all these other guys showed the athleticism looks like it could play at the NFL level, and that added weapon against defenses. Bo Nix showed it. Jaden Daniels, Caleb Williams, J.J. McCarthy all showed they could use their legs as weapons, which, again, is not the main point, but it's a nice extra piece to keep defenses off balance. Anything else on Bo Nix? Before we go, we'll go around the horn with the rest of the league.
So I was watching some of the NFL Network coverage, and Steve Smith, Sr., was on there making a big deal about how the locker room effectively would be upset by the disparity in opportunity given to these two quarterbacks. So if it is a real legit competition, then why is this guy getting 2.5 times the number of drives of the first guy? That's not fair. Of course he looked better. He had more opportunity to do that. So I'm curious to see what they do in terms of balance to Stidham versus...
I mean, Nix, I think, is starting the next game.
Right, but that's my point. Like, he was...
I mean, I would tell the locker room, we drafted Bo Nix in the first round. Jarrett Stidham's been in the league for 6 years. We're probably going to go with Bo Nix as soon as possible. I don't care what the locker room says.
Then don't say it's a competition.
GM Steve over here is going to go to the locker room and say, listen, dudes, Bo Nix is the future here. We're going to do everything we can to let him be the future. Yeah, I also wouldn't lie and say it's a competition.
Yeah. I
would say when Bo Nix is ready, Bo Nix is the starter. Sorry, Jarrett.
As a general rule, I just wouldn't do things to upset Steve Smith either.
I love Steve Smith, Sr., and I agree with Steve.